Welcome back to The Inspired Entrepreneur with Heather Hope. Hey everyone, welcome back. So happy Tuesday. It feels like it's been a little while. Not for you guys, but how was your New Year's? I know I've probably asked that a few times, but I did take the last several days kind of off. I've been working on some other projects and now getting back to doing a few podcast episodes at a time. Okay, so today is January 5th, Tuesday, 2021. Can you believe it? Okay, so got to get back in the swing of things. Okay, so thank you so much for some of you who have reached out and you're like, what? Only 10 minutes? What? And so I love feedback. That's one of the things I really love. I love honesty and I love feedback. I love hearing what people have, what they're thinking. Otherwise, I just, a person doesn't know. So I kind of thought, so I was laying with my husband a few nights ago and I was telling him, I'm like, I've had a few people tell me that they really like longer podcasts. And I did respond to one person's comment and I'm like, you know what? I think I have spoken to too many people who give me too many excuses of why they can't do anything. Let me double check I feel like it's not loud enough in my ears. I guess maybe I need to get closer. So I told my husband, I'm like, maybe it was just an excuse. Maybe if I was just really honest, it's more about time management on my end. And not so much of, well, it's a daily podcast. I don't want to take up too much of your time. And, I always like to think of, being considerate to others and their time and all of that. But honestly, I think it's really more about, I really love checking things off my to-do list. And I get a little caught up sometimes on that. Let me know if you're the same. So it's like, I just want to get everything done. But I have a lot of time. At the moment, now it may change. It will change in the future. Another month or two, it will change and I'll be a lot busier. But, so I told my husband, I'm like, if I'm really honest with myself, it's more about just checking things off my list. But what are the things that I really love doing? I love writing and I love speaking about the law of attraction. So let's not make myself, do 10 minutes a day. Let's just see how long it is. And it doesn't even matter because you can come in and you can go, right? Everybody, if you don't have enough time, that's totally cool. And you can jump off at any time, like what people do, right? So that's what I told him. I'm like, I won't put it on everybody else because it wasn't really about that. And that's the thing. Like, I'm going to start writing this book, The Soul Line Business, because the whole thing about being honest with what it is that you love, being honest about what is it that I truly want to do. There's so much in the whole being honest thing, of course, right? That makes sense. But a lot of us are not that honest with ourselves. It's not really caring too much about how honest we are to others. It's more about how honest are you with yourself and what you're doing. So I really love speaking. I love this. I love doing this podcast. So why would I try to cram it all into a certain amount of time? And then I have time for what? I have to fill in more time in my life. Now, some of you might be like, what are you talking about? Some may have children or may have super filled calendars. I just don't at the moment. So hopefully that explains something. But like I said to somebody else, I have spoken to a few people in the near, present that they have given me a lot of excuses of why they were unable to do things. And I don't like being around that. I just don't like being around, it's like if you really want to do something, you will do it. Like that's my philosophy. That's my thinking. When I really want something, I will go get it. If I don't, I don't. If I really want to do something, I will go do it. If I don't, I don't. So, it's like just that whole honesty thing. And so, you know, I think I just had it in my head to say, well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. It's a daily podcast. Plus, if it's just 10, 15 minutes a day and you wanted more, well, there's hundreds more. Like right now, let me look. Right now, this is Tuesday, right? January 5th. Today's episode 127. So, if you found me today and you're like, hey, I want to hear more, there's 126 more episodes that you could go listen to right this second. So there's a lot out there. So, because I told my husband, I'm like, if I was doing a weekly podcast like a normal person, I typically don't do things normally or what normal people do, or if that's even a thing anymore, whatever, right? The average person probably does a weekly podcast if they do one. I would talk for about an hour and a half. That has always been my thing for the past, goodness, year and a half, 2 years. Anytime I would go live on Facebook or in my weekly calls, typically I would talk for about a solid hour and a half. Like every time I would click, end on the Facebook Live, it would be exactly an hour and 30 minutes. It was just so weird. And, and I posted my depression episode, and it's an hour and 30 minutes. I mean, that's how long a single episode would be, because that's how long I could talk at a time. Well, in a daily podcast, there's no way I can talk that much. I will lose my voice. I will be tired. I will, you know what I mean? So that's why I do talk a lot less on a daily podcast. So anyway, enough of that. Enough of that. But I am working on this next book. And I'll let you know how that goes. Okay, so January 5th, if you're new here, my name is Heather Hope, and this is The Inspired Entrepreneur. And I talk about, and I teach the law of attraction, primarily for business, but for everything, because it's all the same basically. And I wrote a book called The Inspired Entrepreneur, and it's 366 days of inspiration for the entrepreneur. And it's based primarily off of Abraham Hicks and Sanaya Roman and a little bit of Bashar. Those were my three, while I was writing it, those were my three inspirations. Infinite intelligence, source, basically. So let's jump into it. Today is really a short statement, and it says, it just takes focus on what you want to become a vibrational match. If you don't have the book yet, pick it up. It's on Amazon. And so is my 30 Days to Manifest Your Success journals. I have 2 currently, just different covers that are really beautiful. Okay, so one of the things I do, and this is basically why the 30 days to Manifest Your Success journal was created, for something like today's message. It just takes focus on what you want to become a vibrational match. So that's really all it is. Focus. Well, we're talking about positive focus, of course, because that's what helps. But so that's what a vision board is for. That's what having a daily practice is for. It keeps you focused. Keeps you focused on what it is that you're working towards, because your focus is your superpower. That is just the way it is. Your focus. So anything that you put your attention on. I have a Facebook friend who she wrote a thing. I'm going to say it's a quote. It's something that I say, and I don't know if she got it from me or what. And I don't know, who other people, because I don't follow anyone anymore. I have a whole thing on that too, but pay attention to what you pay attention to, or pay attention where you put your attention on or something. And it came through my feed, and I'm like, that sounds like something I say. And I read it again and again and again. I'm like, I do say that. And so I'm like, is she following me on my podcast, or does she have my book or my quotes or what? So I liked the post, but I'm like, I don't know where she got that from, but I'm like, that's so funny. But anyhow, it doesn't matter. So what you put your focus on is what you become a vibrational match to, and how you manifest, like what you manifest is what you become a vibrational match with. Does that make sense? So when you put your focus on what you want, especially daily, you become a vibrational match to that. Even if it's just a few seconds, it becomes more and more and more, and you're building momentum. Whatever you're putting your focus, your thoughts, your vision, your hearing on, your ears, your mind, whatever you're thinking about, you're becoming a vibrational match to. And then it can manifest, or it will manifest in some way. So, yeah. As soon as I clicked on my thing, it says 11:11. That was perfect. Okay, so now did I train myself to go 10 minutes? So we're at 11 minutes now. How funny is that? But yeah. So if you experience depression or anything like that, and go listen to my episode on how I manifested my happiness. I wanted to stop saying my depression because I don't want to claim it anymore. So it's called How I Manifested My Happiness, and then parentheses, how I cured the depression how I cured the depression I had. I don't know, something like that. So it goes into a lot of my story of the past, which I don't even think much about anymore because I don't talk about it. And so I did do that episode. I probably recorded it at least 6 weeks ago and finally uploaded it. But I thought, I'm going to do this one time because I'm not sharing my story, the story of my past. I don't share things anymore unless I want more of it. So I'm not going to be one of those self-help authors that writes a book about my depression, which I did write a book about my depression. It is on Amazon. It was written before I really, truly understand the law of attraction, before I met Abraham. So if I reread the book, I wonder how I would feel about it today. But it goes into that book in particular. I wrote it 5 or 6 years ago and published it. And I had 5 steps on how I cured my depression. Well, since I wrote that, I had a lot of depression. So obviously I didn't cure my depression at that time. But I don't talk about it. I just don't talk about these things anymore. And it's like they vanish. So when Abraham says, only talk about the things that you want more of, like literally do that. Because I don't talk about almost everything in that podcast, I don't talk about anymore. And when you don't talk about something, it does go away. If you don't think about it, it does go away. And it's like this distant memory that you can't recall. And it takes a while to recall it. And it's so amazing when that happens, because it's just like another time. It's another lifetime ago. So I'm telling you, if you have stuff going on or from your past, like literally stop talking about it. Like whatever you put your focus on, you get more of. So stop talking about the story. Stop talking about the things you don't want to experience anymore. You have to. I'm telling you, it's like magic. It really does feel like it's a magical thing. And you just won't have a memory. Over time, it just will be like non-existent in your mind. Guaranteed. So that's how you get over depression. But in the very end of that episode, if you're curious, I did, because I was on medication for many years. and I really wanted off of them because I wasn't feeling good. I transitioned over to natural supplements several years ago, and I still take those because I feel really good on them. And if you're curious, I did end up talking about what I actually take. I wasn't going to be, but it is, you know, it is, and I tell you why I take them, because I was very research oriented at the time. I pulled out my psychopharmacology books, my textbooks from college. I did internet searches. I was looking up my symptoms to the natural supplements that could help those symptoms, and it worked. And of course, I understand the placebo effect. I really get all of that. So it worked for me. I really wanted it to work. I was inspired to do that, and it worked just brilliantly. It was a part of me curing my depression. That was part of it. Now, the other part is get the hell off the subject. You know what I mean? So that is part of it. Part of it was for me was, because I was on medication for several years, and that was my belief system because I was a therapist and we believe in medication and all that stuff, right? But I left the therapy world. I left the psychology world right before then, or right at that time. But I wasn't feeling great. I was feeling a bit anxious, and I was feeling on the medication I was on, and I couldn't up it anymore, and lowering it wasn't working. And I was just had this desire to be off of it. And I just kept thinking about certain supplements. So in the very end of that podcast, I do talk about the actual things that I'm on. And there's one in particular that's really, really good for depression and bipolar and stuff like that. So, and it's incredibly safe. Anybody could take it. Do your research, of course. I'm not telling anybody to take anything. Always do your own research. But it has helped me. It helped me really quickly, and then it allowed me to get my mindset on board. And then after finding Abraham, I really got into the mindset of not talking about it. I was a depression coach. After I left being a therapist, I became a depression coach. That was not helpful at all. That was not helpful. Go listen to the episode, because what you talk about is what you bring into you activate in your vibration. So for me to talk about depression for too long bogged me down. It wasn't helpful. It activated a vibration. So if you're a coach or anybody who helps other people, only help people with things that are like really positive and not so heavy, because you're going to be stuck in all of that garbage. And it's really, it's so, anyway, I think you guys know how I feel about coaching at this point, which I get now. The vibration is just not worth it for me to, I was listening to, we went on a little road trip yesterday to go look at a house that I'm manifesting currently. And I was talking about like Facebook groups and Facebook in general. And I deleted Facebook from my phone yesterday and TikTok from my phone. And thinking about something that Abraham talks about, they call Facebook nosebook because it's other, getting into other people's business. And so one of the things I notice in Facebook groups is a lot of people bring their garbage to Facebook groups. Like, this is the problem I'm having and blah, 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 right? And so here we are reading these people's problems. Same thing as helping other people too. And so it's like Abraham tells us to mind your own business. Like, if you're minding your own business, which means you're minding your own vibration. And I was just talking to my husband. We're driving through the desert. And I'm like, yeah, when you're minding your own business, you're minding your own vibration. So like being on Facebook and reading other people's, experiences when they're not positive, whatever it is, if it's in business or whatever subject it is, it's like getting into other people's business really gets into your vibration. And I'm over it. I'm done. Like minding my own vibration and minding my own business feels incredible. I feel so good because I'm not dealing with other people's problems. I'm not allowing that, or not allowing, because it's just this automatic thing that when you're helping other people and digging into their problems and all that, it activates stuff within you. It's like watching the news, it's like watching a crime show, it's like watching any of that. Any of that will activate vibrations within you. So, so what can you do? I don't know, but like I focus on things that I'm enjoying. I'm reading books. Right now, I'm reading Barack Obama's brand new book. I'm enjoying that. I read autobiographies or biographies. I watch, of course, Abraham Hicks videos and some other people's like Neville Goddard I'm into right now. Stuff like that. Taking real estate classes. I'm finishing that up this week. You know, focusing on the things that I truly enjoy. And it's not bothering my vibration at all because it's stuff I enjoy. So I'm staying off of social media a lot, and I'm just doing things that I enjoy that make me happy. And the feeling is pretty incredible. Not dealing with other people's stuff is insanely incredible. So I highly recommend it. So mind your own business, meaning minding your own vibration, and it's brilliant. And it just feels, I feel so much more at peace now than I ever have in my life, basically. Helping myself, doing the things that I enjoy, not having to listen to other people's problems or excuses or any of that, not, having any of that garbage around me is incredible. So, okay. So I'm going to let you go, and I will be back tomorrow, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.